Good morning. So today's is our last topic in our unit 1. So we have to see about what about the drives. Okay. So drives வந்து பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா it is an intermediate mechanism so which can able to transmit power or motion or from prime mover to the machine or from one machine to the another. So that is we already known as it is also known as some power transmission systems. Okay. So இங்க வந்து பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா will be used instead of directly coupling the prime movers. எதுக்காக அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா the first one, the high speed of the prime movers can be reduced and the torque will be increased by the drive. Similarly, with the help of drives, the driven members will get variable speed when the prime mover is constant. And the third thing, several machines may run by one prime mover. The machine should not be coupled directly to the prime mover shaft due to consideration of safety, convenience, and maintenance over on it. So we'll have a different classifications of drives. So mechanical drive will be classifying of two into drives, friction drive and positive or mesh drive. So friction drive will have a direct friction and flexible connection. Whereas in the case of flexible connections, we'll have a belt drive and road drive. Whereas in the positive or mesh drive, we'll have a chain drive and gear drive over on it. So whereas in the case of a belt, we'll have a three different belt: flat, V-type and timing. Whereas gearல we'll have a spur, helical, spiral, bevel, worm, rack and pinion. Okay. So machine it may be driven by any one of the following two methods. So individual drive and group drive பண்ணுவாங்க. So individual drive so each machine has its own electric motor and starter. The motor directly coupled with the machine shaft by help of belt, chain, gear or variable speed of transmission of system. So whereas it is used in area where requires overhead crane services and with machines, then they are likely to be moved frequently. Whereas in the case of a group drive so it is in the drive, the main shaft runs from one end to the another end of the shaft and it drives by very powerful motor. So whereas this main shaft drives another shaft called counter shaft. So this counter shaft drives the machine shafts fastened loose pulley or provided on the counter shaft for starting and stopping the machine shaft. So this counter shaft for stopping the machine shaft, they also contains a set of cone pulley to give a wide range of spindle bits. So this is the individual drive and this is the group drive. So which is the combinations of all these things. So what is the difference between the individual and group drive? So individual it is suitable only for the small size workshops where machines will be moved frequently and the machines are scattered over. Whereas in the case of a group drive, it can go for medium and large size where machines are not scattered over large area. Speed of a machine will be controlled separately. At the same time, we'll have a set of cone pulleys will give a wide range of speed. Individual machines which does not affect other machines when failure of any motors are there. And actually the failure of main motor completely will stop in a group of machines so will stop entire group of machine. Less power will be wasted. So if less machines work on more, so definitely the more power will be wasted if the less machines running in, but more economical when all machines are working in full loads over on it. So we have defined belt drive. Belt drive it is one of the common method, whereas when power or rotary motions is required to transmit between two parallel shafts, belt drive. So it consists of two pulleys and endless belt is passed over both of pulleys over there. So mechanical power or rotary motions is transmitted from the driving pulley to the driven pulley due to the frictional grip between the belt and the pulley surface. When driving pulley rotates, belt is pull and the pull or tension on the one on side of the belt is higher than the other side. Portion of the belt which is having less tension is called slack side and the one which has a higher tension is called tight sides over on it. The portion of belt between the two pulleys that become either slack or tight depends on the direction of rotation of the driving pulley for the clockwise rotation of the driving pulley. So the lower side of the belt will be tight side and the upper will be the slack side. So anti-clockwise rotations then lower will be in the slack and upper will be in the tight side. So these are all the common belt drives we'll be using over on it. So driving pulley input. The next we have to see about an open belt drive. Open belt drive it is used to transmit power between two parallel shafts and rotating in the same directions. Adhe open belt drive if the diameter of the pulley is not same then the angle of contact of two pulleys will not be in the same. Angle of contact on smaller pulley will be less than 180 degree, larger pulley greater than 180 degree. So slip occurs first on smaller pulley. So the angle of smaller pulley will be considered for designing the open belt drive and this will be calculated by the following equations over on it. Okay, and similarly the cross belt drive which is used to transmit power and the shafts are parallel, but it will be rotating in opposite directions. So in the drive the belts cross each other, so we'll have a much wear and tear. So this type of drive should be used for larger distance between the two shafts and for lower speed. So in this drive angle of contact is equal on both pulleys even when diameter of two pulleys are not same. So similarly this angle of pulleys will be determined by the following equations what it shows over down. The next drive is to be the quarter turn belt drive, which is also known as right angle belt drive. So where it is used to transmit power between two shafts at right angle and rotating in one definite direction. Similarly, in order to prevent the belt from leaving the pulley, the larger face width pulley is used. Reversible motion is desired and will have a above arrangement which cannot possible than a quarter turn belt drive with a gate pulley may be used. Belt driver with idler pulley which is used with shafts arranged parallel, and when an open belt drive cannot be used due to small angle of contact on smaller pulley. Idler pulley will help to increase the angle of contact of belt. So belt tension is increased and drive provides high velocity ratio. Idler pulley drive also known as a jockey pulley drive. Fast and loose pulley drive which is used when the driven shaft or machine shaft is to be started or stopped whenever desired without stopping driving shaft. Pulley which is key to the driving shaft it is also called the fast pulley. So there will be runs with the driving shaft. Loosed pulley which runs freely over the machine shaft and is not transmitting any power. So driving shaft is required to be stopped and the belt is pushed on the loose pulley by sliding bar having belt port. Stepped or cone pulley drive which is used where different speeds are required at driving shaft while the main or driving shaft runs at constant speed. This is possible by shifting the belt from one part of the step to the other. Whereas in the case of a compound belt drive, where there are large speed ratio is required and a large center distance between driving and driving shaft available. So this power is transmitted from pulley 1 to 4 through intermediate pulleys. So whereas in the case of an compound belt drive, so it is used where there are large speed ratio is required and will have a large center distance between driving and driving shaft available. The power is transmitted from pulley 1 to 4 through intermediate pulleys 2 and 3, which are fixed to one intermediate shaft. So we'll have a flat belt, circular belt, V belt, and timing belt. Okay. So flat belts rectangular cross section with a standard width and thickness. So these belts are available in the form of long strip. Okay, and they'll be used for the drive where a large center distance between the shafts. Whereas the case of a circular belt circular cross section, so it will be used in the factories and the workshops. So it is used where distance between two pulleys are more than 8 meters. So V belt it is made with trapezoidal cross section with the standard dimensions. So it is run in V-shaped grooves made on pulleys. So the belts are made from fabric and vulcanized rubber with the cotton or nylon cord tension elements. So they'll be in endless form with the standard length and cross sections. They are used where the drive has relatively short distance and transmit large power. So they have negligible slip. Whereas in the case of a timing belt, they are the modification of flat belts. So they are made from high quality rubber reinforced with the high tensile fabric cords. So due to teeth or on inner side slip is negligible. So it is also known as a positive belt drive. So timing belts are used for relatively short centered distance drive and also transmit high power. The next thing we have to calculate the velocity transmitter by a belt drive. So this is defined as the ratio of the speed of the driving pulley to the speed of the driving pulley. So the speed of the driving pulley that is N1 by N2, driving to be the N1 and driving to be the N2. And we have to assume that there is no relative slip between the pulleys and the portion of the belt. The speed of will be the same. So the linear speed of the belt which is equivalent to the circumferential speed. So we know circumferential speed formula to be the pi d1 n1 and driving to the driven. So d1 and d2. So pi and pi will be getting cancelled. So d1 n1 is equal to d2 n2. So we'll be finding the ratios. So n1 by n2 is equal to d2 by d1. d1 is standard for diameter of driving, driven, n1 to be the speed of driving and driven in RPM, stand for revolutions per minute. So the velocity ratio is to be the diameter of driving to the driven. What about the power transmitted? Actually, the tension difference that is T1 minus T2 is the driving force for the transmission of power. So the tension difference, which is called as the effective pull of the belt. Okay, that is we will be defining as a force. So the force causing the rotation of drive and pulley it is a difference in tensions in the tight side and slack side. So the work transmitted per second, that is the effective pull of the belt into V, that is the velocity of the belt divided by 60. F which is nothing but the tension difference T1 minus T2, so into V divided by, so as it given in watts, so we have to give and go for a kilowatts, so it has to be divided by 60,000. The last topic what we have to discuss about it, Davina, gear systems. So gears they are to be the devices that have teeth cut on them at regular intervals for transmitting motion without slipping. Similarly, the gears are used for transmitting motion when distance between two shafts are small, and they have a higher transmission efficiency and higher load carrying capacity. Whereas it will have a cast iron and high strength alloy steels, which is used for making gears, and nylon is also used. So this is the diagram for the external gear. So we'll have a gear and pinion, which will be rotating in the opposite directions. Whereas the internal gear, they both are rotating in the same directions. So gear systems, gear driving is a very important drive in mechanical power transmission. So gear drive probably to be the positive drive. They will be preferred for larger or moderate power. அதே மாதிரி gearங்கிறது பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா it is a tooth wheel with the teeth. They will be cut on the periphery of the cylinder or the cone, and they will be mounted on the shaft with the keys. So there are two gears mounted, one for driving and another for the driven. Okay, the rotation of the one gear will cause the rotation of the other in opposite directions. It is used to transmit power between shafts that are parallel, intersecting, or neither parallel nor intersecting. So what are all the terms used in gears? We'll have a pitch circle diameter, pressure angle, a circular pitch. So pitch circle, it is an imaginary circle which produces the pure rolling actions, would give the same motion as the actual gear. Diameter diameter of the pitch circle. Pressure angle it is the angle between the common normal to the point of contact, two batting gear teeth and the common tangent at the common point. Common pitch, it is the distance measured on the circumference of the pitch circle from a point of 1, 2 to the corresponding point on the next two. So the pitch will be formula pi d by t. T is the number of teeth, and the last one to be the module. The module is the ratio of the pitch circle diameter in millimeters to the number of teeth. So M is equivalent to d by t. Spur gears if the teeth of the gear wheels are parallel to the axis of the wheel. So the gears are called spur gears. The teeth of the spur gears are cut on the circumference of the cylindrical disc. They can transmit higher power because of the contact between the mating gears is along a line. So whereas use it is used for transmitting power between two shafts, and the axis of the driving and driven shafts are parallel and coplanar. They commonly used in the machine tools and automobile. Helical gears spur gears but the teeth will be cut in the form of helix, and the teeth will not be parallel to the shaft. Okay, and the helical gears can able to run more smoothly, more quietly at high speeds. And the disadvantage of helical gear it produces end thrust on the driving and driven shafts. Whereas the uses it is used for parallel, non-parallel, non-intersecting, where smooth and keep running at a speed is required. They are used in automobile transmission. Spiral gear it is same as a helical gear, but along the helical path so because of point of contact with the curve linear they are used for more suitable for transmitting less power. So inga will be for non-parallel, non-intersecting stuffs use பண்ணுவோம். Bevel gears பாத்தீங்கன்னா conical shapes இருக்கும். அதே மாதிரி அதோட cross sections along with the teeth இருக்கும் உங்களுக்கு. So they are inclined in the bevel gear. They'll have axis at right angles and of equal sizes. So transmitting power between two shafts inclined and intersect with each other, and particularly they are used in the automobiles. So velocity ratio already gear drives path only. There is a velocity in the RPM of the driving to the driven. Number of teeth will be the okay. So finally, all the topics which has been covered over here. Okay. So these are about the introductions of the robots. Okay. Thank you all.